situated. Welcome back, everybody. Apologies for the small hiccup there, but we got everything situated. HD Philly B and Dr. Shadow here for you. This is a best of 3 matchup against the Professors and Flowstate. So, Doc, we talk about a lot of the time who's got the team fight, who's got the big wombo combo. What I'm seeing from both of these squads is there's good initiation and also counter initiation from both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. There is definitely big wombo combo power coming out from both sides. But if I had to pick a team that has the slight advantage in that regard, it does have to be the Professors on the Dawn side there, with the Steel Shield Slam, with the Gideon Black Hole, with the Kwang Fury of the Heavens. I think that's just going to be more hard hitting. I guess also the Purge from the Kira. In the late game, at least. But on the side of Flowstate, the Dusk side there, they do have the Mourn, the Mesmerize, can be a nice counter initiation. The Aurora Cryosysm to set up some control in an area fight to allow that Iggy Scorch to burn, and the Zarus Coliseum to help really just lock people into a burn zone with that Iggy Scorch. But basically what I'm envisioning here is playing through the Iggy. The Iggy Scorch is the win con. Like, he's going to be the one doing the damage for Flowstate here in these objective engagements.
Yeah, Doc, it's going to be, we call it the kitchen comp, right? Either put them in the freezer, you put them in the fryer. Either way, they're gonna die if they're locked in the Coliseum with either the Aurora or the Iggy. But it's chicken in the mid lane. They are going to be the ones to kind of really set the tempo. Doc, who favors the priority here in the mid lane?
That's a tough question, actually. With the recent buffs to Gideon, he does have a better time having priority against the Iggy and Scorch. However, Iggy and Scorch has also received a couple buffs in the last handful of patches. Mm-hmm. So once he hits that critical mass of really level 5, he's just going to permanently be shoving into Soul Reaper there until Soul Reaper gets probably his first item online. Then it'll be pretty even natured there in whoever gets priority first. And Flowstate, they're going to need that. They're going to need that pressure there and that priority because they are on the Dusk side, which means getting priority and getting set up in that Fangtooth pit is going to be a little bit more challenging for them.
Yeah, and they want that priority because if with Iggy, you want to be first to the objective so you can set up your turrets, create your zone of flame and really take it down. Right now we have Oba coming out of the jungle. He's got all 3 abilities. The root is there. The tether is there as well. Iggy, could he expend the flash? He does at the final moment. But it's now for not as Soul Reaper does the Void Breach and just takes him down the rock to the chest. First blood, Soul Reaper.
Soul Reaper getting a great start there. Absolutely necessary for him. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Mercy has shown up for some reason. I don't know. I guess it's really just to keep the creeps off of the tower to help try to keep as many creeps available as possible, as Chicken will be returning to lane here and most likely is not going to miss. Yeah, he's not missing a single creep there. So actually really great heads up play by Mercy there to really catch the wave and create a little chaos there for Chicken. So yes, Soul Reaper gets an advantage in the mid lane, but it could have been a lot worse if they had gotten that creep wave underneath of the tower sooner.
So a heads up play from one of the most legendary junglers in the league, and he's at really low health right now, so I think he's going to probably secure his blue buff, head back to base. His Kwang has already head back, and now he's going to his blue side, knowing that his duo lane has kind of been shoved in. The duo lane for Flowstate kind of pushed up here. I think they're going to take gold, go back, reset, get their first items as well. So everybody kind of jostling these positions as they find their way into the match.
Yeah, it's a pretty tame game right now. Not too much action. People just focused on getting levels, getting to that critical mass level 6, where they'll be able to start leveraging those big wombo combo abilities and most likely start to look toward that Fangtooth at that point. With the Aurora in the jungle for Flowstate, they're most likely not looking to pull a super early Fangtooth just because she's not necessarily the best early game Fangtooth taker unless she has full team help and assistance there. But the Kwang is a little bit better, but similar situation to the Aurora. They're just not the same thing as using a Boris or a Crunch or a Zarus or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But that means they're going to try to facilitate in the lanes a little bit more, and maybe by getting an elimination, find the priority to then take the objective. Doc, as we're taking a look at the off lane here, there are two players that we don't really know, BKB and Oh Man. We've seen a couple of scrims with BKB, has left us with a little bit more to be desired. Let's see if he can do something in this match. Mercy and Oba making their moves in the duo lane, trying to get something done, but they both kind of tag each other out, right, with their abilities, CC each other away. Nobody's worse for wear, but I'm interested on how this off lane is going to go.
Yeah, I think we've BKB is, I believe, I could be getting this wrong, so forgive me for viewers at home, but I'm fairly certain he's a European player, so I've actually not watched him really at all, so I don't know what he's capable of or what he's what his like specialty is necessarily. I think I've only seen him play one Severog game, and it left a little lacking, a little to be desired, I guess. But same thing with Omain. I don't know too much about him, so this is going to be an interesting. We always talk about X factors, and I think this offlane has the potential to be the X factor with these two new players. What are they capable of? What are they going to bring to their team? And why have these high-level teams, Flowstate and Professors, picked these players to represent them in the offlane? They got some questions to answer, and I'm really looking forward to it. Meanwhile, though, Flowstate, they are starting this Fangtooth, but Professors, they're looking to contest.
There we have Crazy Fool and Soul Reaper going in for a pincer maneuver. Crazy Fool doesn't have the up down just yet, but the black hole is online. He goes over the top to let it drop, but it is Flowstate that does secure it. They start it and they finish it. It's about, can they get some exit kills now here for the side of the Professors? And so they do. Chicken gets turned into crisps, and he has taken down a double there for Soul Reaper over the top of the black hole.
Oh, that is a tough trade, but you take that risk starting that Fangtooth so early without getting a priority in one of either the mid lane or the duo lane there. Fantastic abduct, though, coming out from peak in that engagement. It could have been a lot worse for the side of Flowstate had he not abducted Gideon from the black hole. It really reduced the total damage and the total suck power from him. It is also not a great thing that Gideon got a double kill there because Soul Reaper, as you know, a very top tier proficient mid laner. He is one to definitely capitalize on advantages, and an advantage he certainly has with the 2-0-1 score line here at the 6-minute mark, or well, 7-minute mark really. So he is going to be pumping damage pretty early because it looks like he's very close to his first item, if not having it right now.
And Doc, like we talked at the top of the program, him getting his first item is extremely important so that he can keep pace with the oppressive Iggy in the lane and get priority for himself and maybe keep Iggy in the lane so he can't go to the objectives. So facilitating Soul Reaper is the tactic of the Professors, understanding the win condition of their opponents here in this game. Now that we're looking at the offlane once again, both of these characters have such scalability. The later this game goes, the stronger they can get. A huge colossal blow, but an easy dash there from BKB. He knows exactly how to play this one. It looks like Fire Blossom will be first up here for Oman just to kind of secure more creeps and keep the pressure on over here in the offlane.
Meanwhile, Flowstate are initiating that first mini prom of the game, so big objective gamers with Mercy piloting the calls most likely on their team there. They do have Chicken with the Iggy and Scorch to help burn it down, and it will go their way. Who gets it, though? We won't know until we see somebody with that purple buff. It looks like it's BKB, actually. They're going to give that purple buff, the prime buff, to BKB in the offlane to allow him the opportunity to hinder the Severog. But meanwhile, over here in the duo lane, Survivor popping the Purge under the tier 1 tower, pressuring Senpai, and Senpai is most likely going to fall with the follow-up from the black hole with Soul Reaper, and they kill Senpai under the safety of his own tier 1 tower. Oof.
That is this a swimming pool, Doc? Because that dive was absolutely nuts, but the counterattack now is on for the side of Flowstate. Can they track down the shifty Soul Reaper? No, they can't. The torn space is good. They get out scot-free, Doc. What the madness from the Professors.
Yeah, they get out scot-free on that side of the map at least. But meanwhile, in the offlane, BKB taking a nice advantage in this offlane. He's gotten almost 3 tower plates, especially with this mini prime buff helping him there, hindering Omain's ability to get stacks, hindering his ability to farm these creeps. I like this decision just because Severog is definitely a hero you want to keep on the back foot early on and keep him down that way. So I love to see this from the side of Flowstate, but it's looking grim right now for them because it's 4-0 on the scoreboard. However, they are up 2-0 on objectives.
And a massive amount of tower plays just went the way of BKB, so he'll be able to get some items online, and hopefully now that he's level 6 and above, I believe he's it's 8 there. Get those Coliseum stacks up and early will be very beneficial for him. Both teams are now going to be playing around this second Fangtooth. You can see them converging on the map here as they've got 30 seconds to posture before the dinosaur re-enters the sanctuary. It looks like Mercy will be doing just a little bit of sweeping there, trying to clean up any wards. If Soul Reaper get a pick here on Chicken, could be huge.
He comes in. The Hoarfrost does not connect with from the Glacial Charge. Soul Reaper is able to just torn space out for free, but you can see now Chicken has the slight advantage in the ability to get Prio here. But Soul Reaper, he's not too worried about it. He's still going to just get all the creeps underneath the safety of his tier 1 tower. Peak hits the Abduct on the Survivor. It's not anything too crazy, though. Just some duo lane trading, tit for tatting, if you will. But you can see Survivor is going to reset as he's preparing for this Fangtooth, as you mentioned.
As if Mercy will let him, though. Goes for the Boreal Sweep, and another Abduct hits on the Peak. He goes for the Mesmerize, but that doesn't connect. This time, Crazy Fool doing a great job using his body to block anything, but that is the enough priority, enough pressure put on the duo lane. And now that they're a little bit scared, some cooldowns have been used. It's going to be on to the second Fangtooth we go. With this Iggy, you have to start each and every one. We know there's the Fangtooth. It's down. The Coliseum now dropped from the side of BKB, trying to find an unsuspecting victim. It's the up down from the side of the Steel. He gets blown up by Senpai. He's teaching him a thing or two. It's about the engagement. How can they find their way into it? Soul Reaper looking for a way to put in the black hole, but I think it's all said and done. The Fangtooth, they gave it up.
Yeah, Flowstate coming out so far. Hold that, because Iggy and Scorched Chicken might be in danger here. I think he's looking for a blink. He does blink, but torn space to follow, followed up by the black hole, and it sucks and blows and keeps Chicken there in the lane and sends him back to base. So they get an exit kill there for the side of the Professors, but they lost the second Fang. Cryocism coming out, though. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. I think he might die here.
This is ballsy from Mercy, to say the least. A blink, a mesmerized combination from Peak. We've seen it before. The Abduct barely whiffs. Oba, though, does take down his opposite number in Mercy from the jungle. You seem like maybe that was a little bit too aggressive for Mercy, knowing he was barely at half health, taking that engagement. Maybe it's a save your friend syndrome got him there.
Yeah, he definitely was trying to cook there, and I don't think either he wasn't using enough seasoning, or he had the lid of the salt just fell all the way in there, because that was kind of psychotic on his part. But again, they're up 2 objectives, well, 2 Fang Teeth now and 1 Mini Prime on Professors, and we know time and time again that these buffs, they add up heading into that mid-late game. And yes, things are looking a little grim for the side of Flowstate right now, but Senpai has not had a chance to join the major phrase quite yet. Yes, he was at the Fangtooth, but he is still just he's still just doing Senpai things. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, torn space, but BKB is here to chase him.
Yeah, now that his tower is gone, he is able to be unlocked, but it's a huge surge of the heaven. Knocks up too. It's Chicken once again on the menu. He is gobbled up, and it's BKB. Might not be long for this world. Can Oba, does he go for the chase under the tower? Takes a hit, maybe thinks better of it. Backs off there for now, but Doc, all the while, it's Omain on the opposite side. He's taken down that tower, so he's kind of leveled the playing field here for both of the squads.
Yeah, during that second Fangtooth fight, he was just sitting over in this offlane, pressuring this tower, trying to equalize the state there. He's almost there. The tower's almost dead, and his team came out ahead basically at that second Fang fight. So that is a really good sign for the Professors here. Not having their 5th teammate join the fray quite yet, and still feeling very, very strong. He is going to just put a ward down here in the jungle, just look at, just get a little information for his team. But it's looking rough. It's looking rough for Flowstate right now. They're going to need to do something. They're going to have to get some kills on the board around these objectives so that something can happen. But meanwhile, Crazy Fool is locked down here by the Hoarfrost.
A gold rushes out of there, but gets locked in by the Coliseum. But there's the counter initiation. The up down comes through the purge from the out of bounds, just pelting people. And it's BKB who will able to get a stack online. It is the Inferno from the Iggy Scorch belching onto everybody. But Survivor has the most of the damage. That Lightning Hawk cooking people right now. A tether into the Iggy, has to use the stasis crest to stay alive. And still he gets pinged. Not before he takes one with him. Oba, though, still feels very strong right now. Thinks he can go toe-to-toe with the BKB. The rock crashes upon him, and there it is. The kill secured. It's a 4 down for the side of Flowstate, Doc, as they try to get this objective.
I was talking about Senpai not really being a part of anything right now, and that was the just prototypical example of how that is hurting Flowstate right now. That was a 4v5 engagement, and you saw that Professors, they came out barely on top. Everybody, you can see their health bars are still so low. It was looking so decent, but we did see the power of the big wombo combo abilities that the Professors harbor there in that tight corridor by the Orb Prime, well, Mini Prime at this point. Just the easy ability to hit the shield slams, the black holes, the Kwang tethers. It's just so easy in those tight corridors, and that is really what's enabling them such success in these fights. That and not having the Drongo joining them quite yet.
Yeah, the smog grenade could have done wonders there to maybe silence somebody before they could get up into the air and put down some of their abilities. So, but he needs those items online. He needs at least 2 or 3 to really make an impact. As we level out here, it could be time for the third fang of the match. We're at the 15th minute mark. They've been doing this one on a timer. The flow chart has been perfection from both of these squads, and it will be the Professors, knowing they have the advantage. They're going to be taking this one first, and it's immediately being chunked down. There's no way Flowstate go for it, and the first fang of the match will go the way of the Professors, but a cryo-seismic engagement for the side of Mercy as his team there to back him up. We do have Omang. He's trying to usher the Wastelander away, and he's doing that effectively, allowing for the rest of his team to put in the work, and it is Oba who does take down one. They're chasing after the remaining members. A black hole does come through the Eclipse as well for Peak, but he does go down. He can't survive in his own midnight. They get the objective, and they get the kills. Professors on all cylinders.
Professors are absolutely cooking right now. They felt so strong with the Mini Prime on Oba there. It was just a very messy fight coming out from Flowstate there. It felt like Mercy had a vision for how that fight should go with the initiation and the cryoseism. And the follow-up just wasn't there. There was some peel happening. Omain did a fantastic job on the Sevarog, really posturing between his team on the Fang and Flowstate as they were approaching. And the way he found Senpai and got on top of him was really, really just good. It was good play from the Sevarog. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's 0-1, or did he get a kill? Yeah, 0-1, but he did his job there. He joined the game to do his job. Looking at the net worth across the map, though, it's about 2,000 in favor of the Professors. Not insurmountable by any means, but it is still pretty significant there. The CS advantage, about 50 there. Kill participation is drastically, though, in favor of the Professors. So they've just been coming together more successfully than Flowstate right now, and it's looking very challenging, but not impossible. They're just going to have to get lucky and find an opportunity where Omain is not the one that is standing between the rest of his team and Flowstate.
Doc, it's those assists that really help expedite your goal, because everyone gets a little bit, a piece of the pie, right? If you participate. I'm looking for the Iggy. The Iggy can really do a ton of magical damage. As we see Senpai getting run down again. He does blink. The Dusk gets put upon him. Another rock tossed his way, and it will be Oba. He does the tether to just lock him down. It's just another collapse to keep the Wastelander in his place. He can't get any items or any farm or any space online. They are just diving him under his own tower. Here, speaking of a tower dive, they're going right for that mid T1, and they get it. They put Chicken under duress. Once again, the colossal blow to move away Peak, so he can't help his own mid laner. The black hole, I believe it was cut out there just in an instant. Bedlam here in the mid lane. Another rock dropped upon its head. The members of Flowstate are falling now. They're being eviscerated here in the mid.
It looked, I mean, they got something. Flowstate got some money there after that engagement. Peak on the run is most likely going to get tethered here by Oba, because Oba is absolutely locked in this game. The way Chicken blinked out of that engagement, yeah, Peak gets hit by the Bull Rush and by Crazy Fool, and actually Omain secures the last hit onto Peak there. Huge. Yeah, that Flowstate is having a very hard time getting anything and getting out without losing tragically there. Oba came in from the riverside at that engagement. Chicken, he used the Stasis Crest at the base of the Tier 1 tower that he had just taken, and then blinked out from the black hole. But Oba, the angle that he took to get to that mid lane engagement allowed him to just clear any stragglers, which included Chicken there. So Chicken not only died, but also lost the blink. Soul Reaper, though, baited BKB onto the teleporter or the arc shot pad and sent him to the other side of the map. And now Soul Reaper and Oba are looking to just deny some farm from the Mercy Aurora here by taking the blue camp is not up, but they're going to take 3 camp, maybe look at the 4 camp. Maybe. We'll see.
That was some fancy footwork by Soul Reaper. Nonetheless, He knows what to do. He says, bye-bye, bozo, as the Gladiator just got zipped on the other side of Sanctuary. Doc, you feel like the professors are firmly in the driver's seat right now. They're the ones now dictating when the objectives are being taken, which is counterintuitive to what Flowstate wants to do. They are the ones who want to be fighting for these objectives, but they're so far behind. Anyone they try to start, they can't finish, and then they just get wiped, and then you fall even further behind. So at this point, if you're Flowstate, what do you do?
Yeah, Flowstate has definitely been having a hard time finishing here in this mid game. It's just been very hard to get all 5 of them. They missed some major windows where they should have had all 5 of them. Peak, though, getting caught out again here by the tether. The colossal blow just to keep this Morn in place, and he is going to fall.
And there is the Hoarfrost from Mercy, but it might be a little bit too late. The Morn just obliterated. Crazy Fool goes for the up down, does lock down Chicken. He's under his tier 2, but it feels like it doesn't even matter at this point. The counter initiation from BKB, the Gladiatorial Stadium is there. Another knockback under the tier tower, but the Stasis Crest smartly used from the side of Oba. He has that one online, and it's a triple kill for the side of Soul Reaper, the Cosmic Wizard on a tear.
I mean, if there was a word to describe the professors, I think patience is the perfect word for them this game. They started out, they conceded the early objectives in that game, and then even just that fight alone, if we look at that single fight that just happened in that corridor there, Soul Reaper's patience with his abilities, waiting until the Colosseum was dropped, waiting to leverage that black hole in that tight space as a counter-engage. BKB actually counter-engaged the engage with his Colosseum, and then Soul Reaper countered the counter with his black hole. And it was just very, very good play there. I mean, very comfortable, patient play coming out from Soul Reaper, just following up his team, making sure that they're protected. Just, yeah, I'm loving this professor squad that I'm seeing right now. I didn't know anything about really how their squad was going to perform, but I think patience is just the best word I would describe.
And they're one of the best to ever do it, right? A tenured squad, a veteran squad, however you want to put it. So they know this game inside and out, making Flowstate look a little bit silly out here with how they're just going from objective to objective, following the flow chart to perfection. And it will be the Orb Prime who is on the chopping block next. They have the Primal Blaze with them, so they're going to be able to take this robot down with ease. It's just about the engagement from Flowstate. Will they decide to go for this, or will they say, okay, we have Iggy, one of the best, defenders in the game to hold the base. We still have all of our tier 2s. We'll give this one up and live to fight another day.
That has to be their strategy on the side of Flowstate. They can't fight professors right now, especially with the double bubble buff on the professors, the Primal Blaze, the pure damage, as well as the damage resistance. They have to focus on clearing creeps to keep the professors out of their base. If they want a shot at seeing tomorrow, that is what they have to do. They cannot fight unless they find one person totally out of position. The net worth gap, though, continues to grow drastically. It's about 8,000 gold now in favor of the professors. And that switch has really happened in the last probably 7 or 8 minutes since we last mentioned the net worth gap. Sorry there. Most of that coming from the objectives. And they still haven't really cleared any tier 2s, as you mentioned, which is still a huge amount of gold left on the map there that the professors are just licking their lips waiting to get, starting with this mid tower here.
And you're going to have to give up some of these structures, right? If you give up the double bubble, that the other team's going to play aggressive. It's just, what can you give up? When do you decide to make your move? And it might be now, as the inhib is under siege. It is a 2-3 split here, Doc, as both of the left and the center tier 2s do go down. And now Mercy makes his move, goes in for the cryoseism, and stops the up down from Crazy Fool. The Inferno is there to back up the steal, and it's a shutdown from the legend himself onto the Cure. That's huge. And now Senpai feels strong enough to get in the engagement. He finds himself a kill. It seems like on the back foot now, on the retreat is the side of the professors. A colossal blow just to act as a little bit of a breakup play, but now the re-engage comes through. It's a huge cycle. You thought the Fury of the Heavens striking true, taking down one, and it's another multi-kill for the side of the Cosmic Wizard. Soul Reaper has not had enough of this one yet. It's in a 3v5, and the professors take it all.
That is the second RGS ace this game in favor of the professors underneath of the inhibitor themselves. And the professors are going to leverage this Orb Prime buff to end the core here.
Oh, and it is shattering now. The alarm bells are bringing there, just a wailing on it, and that will be it. 24 minutes, all said and done, and an emphatic and statement win here for the Professors. They take game number 1.
Professors looking very good with their patience across the map, trusting one another to do what they need to do. And Soul Reaper is just locked in on a level that I have not seen him play at for a very long time in this league level of play. So I'm loving what I am seeing. Flowstate, they showed some signs of really heads up plays. Like they had a sense of how they wanted the game to go. Unfortunately, the execution was just a little bit lacking. It seemed like there were 2 different kind of shot callers on their team almost. And I think they need to just lock in, trust one shot caller, and trust that one person. And if it leads them to a loss, then it leads them to a loss. But I'd rather see that than 2 disjointed kind of groups of teammates playing.
Yeah, especially with this composition, you need to be on par. If you're diving in with your abilities, you need to make sure you're blowing somebody up. But there's so much tank ability on the opposite side. It was tough to do so. Folks, this is a best of 3, so we still have a lot more left to go. From now, we'll send it back to Black Skiller Man himself, Dr. Shadow. And we are here for game number 2 to decide our second team to make it into season 2 of PPL. Doc, the desk, they put it, not lightly. There's a draft discrepancy between these 2 squads.
Yeah, I am in full agreement with the desk right now. I mean, the side of Flowstate, they're so chunky and thick, and they're still going to have enough damage output with the gadget, with the Skylar. I just don't see how the side of the Professors are going to be able to cut through this, especially when we get around that 20-minute mark. Because we always talk about the Narbash being a ticking time bomb, but the Morn is also a ticking time bomb. So, yeah, this is the Howitzer. Maybe if Soul Reaper plays like he did last game, maybe they'll have enough damage to cut through, but I just don't see that happening in this current game the way it's lined up, for all the reasons the desk pointed out here. Control is everything, and they're looking to, Flowstate is looking to control the map. Absolutely.
Doc, for me, it's about how are the professors going to engage in some of these fights, right? Like, is it just the jungler just diving in, just using Krausasm, says, okay, here I am, blowing up and dying, and then hopefully it's enough for the rest of the team to come through? Like, it seems very peculiar on the way that they want to take some of these fights.
We do call that the Mercy special, though. The blink into Krausism, die, and let your team win the game, potentially win PCCX. Crazy Pool, though, is forced to blink there, though, just by the mere presence of this Zarus in the duo lane there. So this Narbash, who's already just, he's a little chunky, a little thick, he doesn't have a blink. So another rotation from either the Gadget or the Zarus could spell death for Crazy Pool.
He's got his self peel. He got the march. He got the thunk. So I trust some of these players. Yes, he expended it, but I think he'll be okay. Right now in the red side jungle, though, Doc, a bunch of players are converging. They're trying to contest Mercy. They know the jungler extraordinaire needs to be brought down to size. He dashed the wrong way. Now he has to blink. There's another important cooldown down for the Gladiator, and it's BKB. Doc, we were watching a couple scrims this week. We've seen what he can do. Didn't impress us too much, but when maybe on the main stage, he'll have something to prove here. Is BKB in the offlane still? The battle continues. It forces Chicken to rotate at level 2. I feel like you rarely see that happen, Doc.
And there's a Narbash in the mid lane covering the wave there for Soul Reaper to get there. So just a whole lot of movement here coming out from the Professors as they apply pressure from systematically through the red side jungle toward that off lane there. You can see now that BKB is kind of by himself a little bit, has an Aurora looking at him, but he's not really going to be in any huge danger there. But I really like what the Professors were doing there, invading that jungle, because that is... You're basically playing Mercy at Mercy's own game, because Mercy is one of the most aggressive junglers and will just, at any given chance, take as much farm from you and your jungler as possible. So I really like that they do that. Mercy, though, pops in on that Soul Reaper in the mid lane.
And he uses the boop to get out. Doesn't have the make it rain, but it's a huge first blood there from the side of Own Main, taking down his opposite number. Those two were just hacking at it, and they were able to, go blow to blow, and that was the way of the Terra. We lost the stream just for a second there, folks. Okay, we are back in it, and it is the duo lane. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Main getting the single dingle onto BKB in that off lane for the first blood. So BKB off It's not a great start. I think he was maybe limit testing a little bit there. We always like to chalk up those single dingles in the off lane to limit testing. So that's what we're going to say here. But now he's down. Oh, actually, that's a level 3 Terra. So he's still pretty even levels here, all things accounted for. But there is a nice net worth gap there in favor of Omain's Terra.
Yeah, getting that first blood, they'll definitely get you at least one extra tier 1 item. So, but the stacks could be going the way of BKB. We can't see how many he's procced so far, but that will add a couple extra durability points for him. Has Prio in the wave, so he's able to get that Cyan. As we look elsewhere on the map, we see Peak. He's rotating to the mid lane, trying to get Soul Reaper before he gets his escape tools online. He thinks maybe better of it, but will probably stick around for the River Bug at the 5-minute mark.
That's a long time to. Well, I guess it's not that long. It's 12 seconds. Yeah, he will be most likely securing. It actually looks like he's backing. He's going to look to reset because this left side should be pretty secured unless Mercy is able to get there in time. Peak has recalled, but meanwhile in the off lane, Omain is forced to blink. BKB follows, and the subjugate does connect.
And there's a siphon as well, and it is Mercy with a little bit of retaliation. They find the offlaner, a great pincer maneuver between the two. That gives a little bit more breathing room for BKB to get his stacks, but knowing the jungler on the opposite side of the map, it is a Fangtooth open for the side of the Professor, so they go for the start, but it's a 2v3 in the pit here. Senpai might not have all the items on just yet to be burning through, folks, but Peak and the Mesmerize could be doing a lot of damage. The 500 mark hits, and it will be the Secure going the way of the Professors, and they go hop and skip and jump right out of the back using the Glacial Charge.
I love that. I love when teams coordinate escapes like that over abilities like Glacial Charge. Mercy, though, coming in, the Hypercharge, burning Crazy Fool down. Blink probably just got up as he died there. Unfortunate for him. So they do, for the side of Flowstate, they do get an exit kill for losing that Fangtooth. I really liked, though, how Senpai and Peak applied pressure to the Fangtooth pit to just buy time for Mercy to get there. I think that was a really good heads-up play saying, hey, we're going to buy you time because we know you're on the other side of the map, and we know the Professors know that you're on the other side of the map. Peak and Mercy now running for their lives from what seems like an entire army, but really it was just 3 on the side of the Professors. Meanwhile, in the off lane, though, Omain and BKB man fighting here.
These two are just going at it. The Highland Hurl does connect and roots him to the spot. One more hit should do it. Unstoppable popped, though, Doc, for the offlaner to get away. My goodness, that was close. But it is Peak who comes from the jungle. He's not swinging just yet, but he's able to secure the kill.
He came from behind. You never would expect the Morn to come out of the fog wall in the off lane to kill you, right? That is just such a random movement there coming out from Peak, and it pays dividends. It pays huge dividends. BKB probably saying, hey, I'm going to bait this guy into a fight, and Peak says, all right, bet, I'm on my way. So they're able to get back, or they're able to get a kill there, which is really this is already turning out better than the first game, right? They already have the equivalent of however many kills they had in game 1. So game 2, off to a great start so far. We are entering a little bit of a lull state, but the teams are kind of looking to group, especially Flowstate, looking to group for this mini prime here.
Yeah, you can see the wards around there as well, so they can have the vision, have the priority, and with how much pressure they've been putting on Omain on this Terra, they haven't been able to get the levels they need to really try to contest this. You can see Soul Reaper over the top there, just putting in some of those slowing grenades, R2000 rocket here and there, just trying to push him away a little bit, too little that poke damage before the real fight commences. Senpai, though, will be retreating here for now. Thinks the rest of his team can kind of handle this on his own. Here's Obo, dives in with the Glacial Charge, maybe going for the steal, splits everybody in 2, but still not in huntable range just yet. Now it is, and there it is, secured by the jungler. That will be Mercy, clad in purple, goes for the first Coliseum of the game. Can they get the stack? They do. Yep. Chicken secures it for the squad.
Chicken gets the kill. Mercy gets the stack onto the Coliseum. Mercy also gets the mini prime buff. It was a great attempt, though, by the Professors. I don't know if you noticed this, but the way Oba used Glacial Charge to break away, create a gap between the Mini Prime and the opposing heroes from Flowstate, and then Soul Reaper tossed a landmine into the pit to try to push back Mercy at the same time that it was becoming huntable. Unfortunately, they were off by about 300 HP, so it would have worked, actually, had they just had the timing just a little bit better, but nonetheless, it was still a really fantastic attempt. Mercy gets caught by the Hoarfrost here, Cryocism to follow.
the Tesla Dome there to kind of help out Mercy, and who's now on the run, has to use the dash maneuver to get out of there, and does so successfully. They really towed the line there, Doc, in order to take down some of those plates and really facilitate Chicken in the mid lane. Looks like we have a replay error, folks. But Doc, here by the side of Flowstate. They are immediately burning through, and it's Peak who's playing a little bit of the bodyguard at the front. He'll take all the damage. They look to burn him down. The glacial charge comes through, but it is not close enough to get the steal. And it is, or no, it isn't. Okay, oh my gosh, the Make It Rain though from Soul Reaper now looking for a target. Peak still stands, but now he falls, turned into dust. Still, the battle rages forward. We have Senpai in a really great position in the backline, and Chicken just tossing in all of the gadgets in the world to put in the damage. Oba now is on the chase looking for Senpai, but the extra jump from the passive is able to get them to safety. Some exit kills go the way of the side of the Professors, but the Fangtooth secured here for Flowstate.
Fangtooth is secured, but Senpai gets pincer movement by Omain. Omain wraps around that tier 1 tower there and hits him with the Highland Hurl, locks him into the Hoarfrost, and he has nowhere to go, just dead. Deadzo back. So that's 3 exit kills in favor of the Professors. However, the Flowstate team did a great job equalizing objectives. Mercy trying to steal the blue buff, which is a classic Mercy move. He gets abducted, but I did not see who gets it. But the Coliseum dropped, or sorry, Oba gets Coliseum dropped onto him, but he's hopping away.
Doc, the spear of Nier, it connects and takes down the opposite jungler. That's maybe a little bit of a greedy play there from Oba to try to take more cookies out of the jar, so to speak. As you look around the map once again, nobody's over there in the off lane for Flowstate. That does give opportunity for Omang to right the ship a little bit, get some more of their levels online, some items there as well. We're seeing Mercy with the first Berserker Axe as the first item choice, probably going for augmentation next, as is the tried and true build for all junglers.
Oba gets caught out in the blue side jungle trying to pull a Mercy. Mercy kills Oba and retaliates, doing an actual Mercy there, is able to steal the red buff from Oba. So that is a great invade coming out from Mercy. He's going to hop back into his jungle, continue just clearing, getting some creeps. The blue buff is, according to the mini-map there, it looks like blue buff is actually still up, but I'm pretty sure I watched it die.
Yeah, that could just be the replay, Doc, so we won't take that into account. But it's Peak who has to expend the blink here. The plasma grenade from Senpai to slow up the advance, but it is the Dusk from Survivor TV that secures the kill. That's why people are picking Kira, and that puts the Vengeance stacks onto a close target as well. Senpai, he's going to have to go back to base as we have another scuffle over here in the offlane. This time, Mercy is there to help out. A nice Highland Hurl connects to just force him back just a little bit, but the Subject Gate even better. The Siphon as well. Now they go for the Ruthless Assault. Here is the side of Omain, but it might be all for not. The crowd size him too late here from Oba. These beefy boys, they don't even care about it. The Eclipse expended maybe to try to help BKB get out. He puts in the Subjugate as well. Now changing targets here is Oba. And oh no, a surprise. It's not a Wraith. It is a Kira. And there it goes. Another kill for Survivor TV. They need that carry to come online. They need to come online quick.
That's a great use of the arc shot there. I think that's the first time in competitive play I've seen an arc shot used in that way, with Survivor making the fantastic rotation over to that offlane to clean up that situation that I think Oba might have had a little difficulty cleaning up, not because Oba's bad or anything, but just Aurora's very difficult to secure a lot of those kills with. And off the back of getting that pick onto Mercy, they're looking at the second mini prime of the game here. Meanwhile, though, Peak and Chicken are in the mid lane. Omain and Soul Reaper trying to keep them at bay.
Oh, you think you'd like that for the side of the professors? Peak is on the run now. Omain with the axe. He's got advantage against all thing tree-like. Still, he finds the kill, and that creates enough space for the mini prime to be secured as well. We'll be curious to see who that goes on. I would like to think it would probably be Mercy on the Aurora, trying to push the issue here. But all the while, the Sevarog, it's BKB looking to force the issue and push down that tower. Still, the battle rages on. Doc, I'm so sorry for holding the mic so long. There's just so much action under the tier 1 tower they go, and the retreat horns are sound.
Yeah, it's most likely on Oba with that Aurora. I also called Oba Mercy because we just watched Mercy play the Aurora, so it's messing with our heads here. But Mercy trying to pull a Mercy here, getting the invade, but Crazy Fool is privy to this with the Crash Bang Boom to follow, trying to knock him up, and it does end up almost knocking Senpai out, but he aerial assaults to get away.
And the blink expended from Mercy as well, Doc. There's another slowing plasma grenade. He tries to go for the hop. He just missed it. The Hoarfrost. Oh, no. The humanity. The technology not working there for Senpai. He gets taken down, and it's another kill for Survivor. Mercy has a little bit of retaliation. Gets a Spear of Near in the opposite number to 1-for-1 trade here in the jungle.
Mercy comes out on top there, though, for sure. Yeah, he loses his ADC, but he gets a stack and a fat kill on the Soul Reaper there. So that is a fantastic pickup for Mercy, and with him still being alive, he can still contest this Fangtooth. There is not an easy green light quite yet. BKB has made his way over to the duo lane now because he is grouping with the rest of his team here. Both teams are going to start throwing themselves at one another here because whichever team gets this next Fangtooth is going to have an advantage with movement speed out of combat for the rest of the game. And it means they will be one step closer to having the bonuses to offense and defense. So let's see how this plays out here.
We're looking for what's the engage tool here? We saw Peak trying to go for the Duck. He gets the Mesmerize, but it's not strong enough. The Glacial Charge expended, but that BKB goes right in, does a double Colossal Blow, forces Oba to expend the crowd size, but the Tesla Dome right in this corridor is perfect to cut the team in two. I think an Atomizer from downtown takes out the Order Bard. He won't be singing anymore. A nice slowing grenade to split away the Flowstate squad, but I think they got what they came for. That's 2 kills. They're moving on to the Fang.
That's 2 kills. That is going to be the second Fang going, or third Fang of the game, second Fang going the way for Flowstate here. And that was a dream position to fight there for Chicken on the gadget. The Tesla Dome just melting, shredding, doing so much damage there. And a really great engage there by BKB. The way he took the initiative to follow the Glacial Charge. He got up on and he hit 2 heroes with the Colossal Blow, thus putting Oba out of position. And if you're Aurora, you want these fights to start on your terms. So by being Colossal Blowed out of position, the fight was not able to start on his terms. And in fact, he had to use Crowdism to get away defensively and ended up burning in the Tesla Dome. So just a great initiation there from BKB. Great entrance to this game for him.
Yeah, and since the Glacial Charge was expended, Aurora couldn't get out. So they had to do something. They're like, all right, might as well just ice bomb myself, right? Peak. He's under duress here. 3 members converging upon him. Oh, it's the Axeman again. Okay, Senpai is here to help out his little tree friend. Doc, this is actually the second Fangtooth is huge for Peak because we've seen how he's been rotating throughout the map, doing his best Zihi impression to really put the pressure on in all 3 lanes. So that extra movement speed going to be working wonders. We have another scuffle over here in the red side jungle. And then on the duo side, we have that tower falling because they sent so many people over there. So the gold disparity kind of leveling out here between the squads.
Yeah, it's definitely leveling out a little bit. Slight tower advantage in favor of the professors, slight objective advantage in favor of the Flowstate. Mercy, though, tries to get a little damage onto Soul Reaper, but Soul Reaper is able to disengage with the landmine here. However, Crazy Fool has arrived, and I thought he was going to be in danger. He's not in danger. He's Narbash.
Yeah, Narbash never in danger. He's always singing, always jolly. But Doc, you mentioned now there's basically 4v4 converging over here in the mid lane. The Prime is not up for another 2 minutes. I doubt they could sneak in the mini at this point, but they may be ballsy enough to go for it right now. They're chasing down Mercy. The Hoarfrost doesn't connect there. He leaves them a Spear of Near as a parting gift, but still. Each team now vying for position. It's can they get separated or can they stay together as a squad right now? BKB, the one being separated, the Phantom Rush has to get him out of dodge, the security gate to help him with that little extra movement speed. When all said and done, nobody falls, both teams back off.
Meanwhile, though, Senpai in the duo lane is going to take that tier 1 tower, equalizing the map economy. Now slightly in favor, just very slightly in favor of the side of Flowstate right now. But BKB might be in trouble here because Main very strong.
The Wild Rush comes through. The Ruthless Assault, though, that does whiff, even with the full stack. The Subjugate whiffs as well. The Colossal Blow has to be used this time to push Main away, and they'll take the Blast Cone and get out of that one. That was a little too close for comfort there for BKB.
A little too close for comfort, but you know what? He survives. Senpai gets a tower, and they don't lose the objective there. Huge plays coming out from them. The Coliseum, though, dropped on Crazy Fool.
And he expends the Crash Bang Boom to make sure he doesn't get eliminated, just to delay the inevitable. Another Spear of Near. He has the red buff as well. And sometimes, Doc, you die for the vision. That is such the life of the support. 30 seconds they have here is Flowstate to secure this mini prime, Doc. Can they do it? That is the question. The rest of the team from the Professors without their support, do they try to go for it? Do they go for the steal? No, the Hypercharge, too clean, too good. Mercy, clad in purple.
That is a huge objective pickup for Flowstate there. That just, they got it with 22 seconds remaining or something like that. So now they have this window where they have at least the mini prime buff on Mercy. He's going to have the fast recall. He's going to be able to shove waves a little bit harder and improve their Flowstate's ability to control map pressure. And all of that is going to lead up to the fourth Fang of the game, or the Orb Prime, depending on how these teams are posturing and which they value most. But for Flowstate, it should be that Fang Tooth, because that would also be their third Fang of the game. So really great opportunity for Flowstate here to really choke the map out from the Professors and leverage that to get an objective.
And what the first objective is going to fall is the tier 1 tower. It's an aerial battle, a dogfight of all things. Look at them going at it, Doc. You rarely see that one. A couple abilities trade between the squads, but we know you got to take the tier 1 tower first to unlock the map, and unlocked the gravestone for Peak. It is. He's down in the dirt. Senpai now running for his life, has to use the Liberator to get a little extra shield, but it's Mercy who found his way into the backline. He goes for the Coliseum, dropped upon to the microwave, finally cooking. Yeah, hearing the beeps there, folks. The thing is done. The fight is over, and it is Flowstate running away with it.
I think it was the other day I was casting with you and said, how many times have we actually seen the microwave pay off? And that was probably time number 2 where we've seen it really just absolutely cook. Senpai, though, does end up walking through the wrong fog wall at the wrong time, getting poked out by Main there. However, Oba, trying to make something happen here onto Mercy, does get just run down by the remaining bits and pieces of BKB and Chicken there. So they do not let their Mercy fall. Mercy having a huge game this game, finding the back line, finding the back, getting those Coliseum stacks. I don't think he got any. He might have gotten a Coliseum stack in that fight, but I don't think he did, because he killed Soul Reaper before dropping the Coliseum, and I believe a blink was expended to get out.
Yeah, but I mean, he's doing the dive to perfection, and then BKB is kind of following up, and then they're just having poke from the back, right? You know, that's what Gadget does. She's a poke mage, just tossing in abilities and chunking people down, and then the other two can just finish them off. So I think they're working their composition to perfection, and that's exactly what the desk said, Doc, is that the cookery or the whatever they're planning over here for the Professors may not come to fruition. We're at that 20-minute mark. The Darbash should be online.
He is a little underleveled. He's level 9 right now compared to level 11, 13, 14, and 15 on the side of Flowstate. So he's a little bit underleveled, doesn't have that level 2 Crash Bang Boom quite yet. Okay, now he has it. He does have his Blink, does have his Crash Bang Boom, but his Mana Sustain is probably not exactly where we'd want it to be if he was a little more on par on levels. And what we're seeing here is Peak, that ticking time bomb that we talked about with the Morn. He has reached critical mass just a little bit sooner with his just power to control and disengage these fights and allow them to go the way that he wants them to, with the mesmerizes, with the armor or additional armor to his allies and armor shred to the enemies. But really, I mean, it's BKB and Mercy that are just carrying these fights, finding the back lines, and there's not really anything that Professors can do right now about it. There is no real peel with the way that their lineup is drafted.
And I think it's the Terra for me, Doc. What is her role in these fights, right? I know Black's Legend said, okay, yeah, if she can dive into the backline and cause some havoc against the Gadget and the Skylar, but Skylar can fly away from you. Gadget, has security gate, things like that, because you can just run in a straight line and you're good to go. So I think it's just really difficult for Main to find purchase in this contest.
Yeah, I agree. It's really difficult to do what Terra needs to do, and that's getting onto that back line. It's hard to get on the back line because there's a gadget and a Skylar. So as you mentioned, one flies away and the other can security gate to walk away, security gate you, or force you to use your unstoppable. Either way, she has a little durability and is not going to go down so easily. So it is a very tough situation to be Omain in this game right now. And without much control other than a Highland Hurl, it's even harder to get something. But the Abduct comes out on the Soul Reaper.
Oh man, speaking of control, the Morn has oodles of it. The Cryoseism expended, as well as the Make It Rain, two massive ultimates here in this little trade on the red side jungle, all because these two are just being a nuisance. It's Mercy and Peak working in tandem effectively to then allow themselves to create the space to get to the Primal Fangtooth. The rest of the team, though, for the Professors, they're going to reset, get full health, full mana, and maybe look to contest this.
Two huge cooldowns that are not available for the Professors heading into this fourth Fangtooth. It's going to be the third Fangtooth for Flowstate if they secure it. But here comes the Crash Bang Boom.
And that's their only initiation tool, but it's a Colossal Blow. Oh my gosh! Blown up is Survivor TV after that Colossal Blow. A huge counter initiation from the Sevarog, and it will be Flowstate securing the third Fangtooth, the Primal one at that. They are on fire, Doc.
BKB firing on all cylinders right now with these colossal blows. That's the third high impact one he's had, and he continues to just nail those subjugates, allowing for Senpai to just do Senpai things, and they are just walking all over the Professors right now with the power of this Primal Blaze, the pure damage, just shredding and melting and destroying everything, all off the back of that amazing colossal blow from BKB. Yet another example of him getting to the back line perfectly and hitting the perfect target to just disallow any sort of retaliatory fight from the Professors.
I mean, that was immaculate coordination. The home run hit, Survivor was immediately locked down by the security gate, and then even the Primal Fang got in on the action, sent out a fire breath, and sent Survivor to the grave. And now, as the flows chart states, Doc, the Orb Prime is on the menu, and so there they go. They take that down with ease. On the opposite side of the map, Chicken goes for a tower, has to blink out for his troubles, but gets it nonetheless, and a double bubble buff is here for Flowstate.
Double bubble buff on Flowstate for at least the next 3 minutes. That's going to be a lot of map pressure coming the way of Professors. They are going to just have to buckle down, hide in their little shell, and turtle if they want any chance at beating the Flowstate in this game too. Here they are just the scoreboard is only 19-11, but it feels like they are so far behind because of how Flowstate are playing these fights, finding that back line so well that it just feels like there's never a 5v5 fight. The fights always start with Flowstate getting a pick, and the Professors are inherently just down a man there.
And that's exactly what their composition is built to do off the back of this Zarus from the jungle. He just wants to dictate, and maybe that's what they found, Doc. That was their control. They're like, okay, Mercy, call the shots, buddy. We're following you, dictate the tempo, and that's what is happening. This tier 2 tower, rather, is looking to go down in another Coliseum dropped here outside of the inhibitor. Mercy's like, okay, maybe that's a little too aggressive. The Make It Rain expended as well. Just an exchange of abilities and ultimates here, a 1-for-1 as Flowstate is trying to seize with the double bubble.
Soul Reaper doing everything he can to keep the side of Flowstate out of his inhibitor. With this Orb Prime, it's very, very tough. Their defenses are not the best for clearing creeps. Howitzer already struggles to clear waves as it is, so like these empowered creeps are just a nightmare to deal with, and that will be the middle inhibitor, and that will be the right inhibitor soon to follow. These guys are just looking to end this systematically.
Doc, my spidey sense is tingling, and I feel like we've got a game at 3, and I feel like, chat, you probably are feeling it too. A plasma grenade launched in, and it's probably just going to go for maybe hitting the core, a colossal blow there, but it's into his own fountain, so he's going to be okay with that. The Eclipse expended from Peak to obscure the vision. Looks like they hold here for now, Doc, but it's dire straits for the Professors.
No Primal Blaze on Flowstate anymore. However, there is still the Orb Prime buff. Omain, though, jumps in. Might have been too deep. He is just going to get shredded down by the hypercharge, by all of the damage coming out, as well as the armor shred from the Morn.
Doc, that's happened to me where you accidentally take the slingshot from base, then you're into the enemy's jaws. A Cryoseism expended, but whiffed another double colossal blow into the security gate combination. My goodness, those two working in sync right now. Only 2 members of the defense still stand, but they're not long for this world. A Coliseum drops now upon the head, and it will be a double kill for the side of Senpai. He goes down, but he doesn't even care because he knows his team will be able to follow it up and close this game out.
Oba is the last man standing. The Aurora is going to have a very difficult time here. However, yeah, BKB tries to do something, but Chicken just melts him in the heat lamp there. And that is going to be game 2 going the way of Flowstate. They took a hefty loss in game 1 and they came back convincingly in game 2 off the back of an absolute draft differential here.
Yeah, my goodness. A complete turnaround, but this is exactly what we wanted to see. The desk wanted to see. The fans wanted to see, Doc. We are going to a third game in this series. To break it all down, we're going to send it back to Blacks, the Legend, and Grady.
Nope. You muted, Blacks.
I was muted. That was one intense match from Flowstate and Professors. But Flowstate did exactly what I needed. And let's go ahead and go over to our cast team so they can give us the answers we're looking for.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 3 of our series between the Professors and Flowstate. These two teams are vying for one of those qualifying spots for the PPL Season 2. They want that money this summer, man, for their vacations. I'm HD Philly B. Alongside with me is the marvelous medicine man himself, Dr. Shadow. My friend, I feel like we've got the fishing comp versus the rock or the ball comp over here between these two sides.
Yeah, either way, we still have snipers on both teams, and it's honestly going to come down to which team hits the most snipes. So you've got the Kobe's on the side of Flowstate with the Decker stasis balls and the Rampage boulders, and then, as you mentioned, the hooks coming out from the side of the Professors with the Richter and with the Richter Riplash. Sorry, that's a mouthful, and the Morn Abduct. So there's a lot of skill on the line here. A lot of skill is going to be required for these teams to perform. But to the point that the desk was making, it's going to come down to which team plays that front to back better. And after that game 2, man, I'm a Flowstate stan. BKB's performance on that Sevarog, I can't remember the last time I saw somebody hit that many impactful colossal blows to the point where I was just like, I'm just going to go play Sevarog now.
And you know what I love is, like, we know Lauber being the mainstay, the staple Sevarog player, but these two played very different games. Lauber more of the distraction, look at me, take some damage, survive, whereas BKB was initiating with the colossal blow and really causing havoc in that way. So 2 different styles of play for the same hero. So we love to see that out there. Doc, it's a Richter in the jungle. Ladies and gentlemen, the Richter is in the jungle. I feel like that's something we haven't seen in a very long time, and this is kind of a do or die. If you don't hit the hooks, you do nothing.
Yeah, the Richter jungle is definitely something that's been making a resurgence in this most recent patch with some of the buffs to the electrocute, the ability to have that movement speed to traverse across the map and really get into a lane. And speaking of getting into a lane, they're on top of Chicken here running at him, but the boulder stops the chase onto Chicken. But Chicken is actually going to hang around and hit Obo with some particle shredders here. I think he should be fine.
I think he'll be as fine as well, but he's taking maybe way too much damage.
Oh,
the Ether Crystal was too good, Doc, and it could be a double kill for the side of Flowstate. Disaster for the Professors. This is not how they wanted this to go. The blink down for Soul Reaper. The blink chase there for Chicken. Can they finish off the Fairy of the mid lane? It doesn't look like it, but Omain now forces out a blink. Doc, within the first 3 minutes, it's madness in Sanctuary.
It's not over yet in the mid lane. Rampage never left. Rampage stayed. Mercy stayed in the mid lane there to just basically Soul Reaper got baited into staying, and Mercy jumped over the ledge, hit him with a boulder, and Chicken with his actual singular hair of mana was able to do enough damage to send Soul Reaper back to base. That was an exhilarating and honestly surprising fight there. I really thought Obo was just going to be able to walk away there, but the damage coming out from Chicken on this Argus with the particle shredder, and that was a really nice ether crystal to bump himself over the Riplash coming out from Oba. But just based off of that engagement, I agree with Grady. I would love to see Oba on a hero he's more comfortable on, more of like those Yins, those assassins or heroes like that. This just feels a little clunky for what I know about Oba and his playstyle. Kwang, Shinbi, again, something like that. I can't honestly say I've ever seen him play the Richter, so this is I'm definitely uncomfortable.
It is uncomfy, not just for us, but for Oba as well. Doc, it's one note from the Richter. You throw the Riplash. If it doesn't connect, you waddle away and you say, oh dang, right? Whereas with the other characters, okay, if you are Kwang, you go for the tether. If you miss, maybe you do the Surge of the Heavens, try to get on top. You have other pieces in your kit to make something happen. Whereas the Richter, maybe not so much. As we look around the map now, folks, we do see the junglers converging once again. Still a minute or so until those river bugs come online, but they're setting up and facilitating their mid laners to make sure that they can battle it out effectively. From the top rope is Mercy. They're looking to put the pressure on Soul Reaper, knowing he has no blink.
Yeah, I've got my eye on Chicken here this game. He is, as many of you at home know, he is a controller player, and he is hold that. Dreadnova connects on the Soul Reaper. Mercy follow-up Boulder, and the Stomp, just a boot. Soul Reaper just getting cooked in the mid lane there, showing the weakness of the Fae hero. One stun, and you just get on top of her, and she is very, very susceptible to dying without any real inherent mobility to her other than her Bramble Patch. But I was just about to talk about that matchup with Chicken on the controller with the Argus. His particle shredders are going to be that much more dangerous when when hitting a smaller target like Faye with the tracking, with the auto aim feature. So he is going to be pumping a lot of damage, and I've got my eye on him to really show us what this controller Argus is capable of in this game. But Crazy Fool is looking at Chicken. The abduct does not connect, and he's going to have to go back.
Another sidestep there from the dwarf of the mid lane. And Doc, I'm looking at the Fangtooth, actually. It's the 5-minute mark, so the dinosaur has spawned, and we can see a ton of vision has been popped up around his little abode. So far, though, it's the Decker who's gone deep into the jungle to place their own wards and create a little bit of space for the rest of the team to take this very important first Fangtooth. Just with how active they've been, knowing they have priority in the mid lane, getting this duration to the buffs extended is going to be very impactful.
I can just hear the comms right now. Mercy saying, start it up, start it up, start it up. Senpai and Chicken both get onto the Fangtooth. They get it down about 2,500 HP before Mercy gets into the pit. Mercy's able to secure it. BKB, though, is going to fall from a nice little rotation here from Soul Reaper and Oba under his Tier 1 tower, but that's the BKB life, man. You're living on a little island over there on that Sevarog. It does not take away from his ability to impact this game, especially once he starts joining the fray with the rest of his gang.
Doc, it's the trade, right? We know that MOBAs are a chess match. You give something, you take something away. So, okay, Fang for our offlaner, you'll take that every day of the week. But now Mercy looking to take some life and some wind out of the sails of the opposition. It is the Survivor TV that strikes first, but he is extremely low. One more Rumble will do it. And the Shadow Glide and the Blink as well for Senpai. So shifty is the Bounty Hunter. Kira is able to get out of there for now, but it is the Behemoth that has to be expended from Mercy to get out of dodge. The Boulder expended as well. He breathed a sigh of relief, but he'll be okay.
Soul Reaper also made a rotation to the duo lane there to help shove the wave in faster, get the creeps under the tower, but Senpai's still there. Senpai's still going to get some solo XP and some farm there. So all in all, pretty favorable there for the side of Flowstate. Yes, they lost one, but they also got one in return. Can't be upset about that. However, they did show the power of the Abduct and the Riplash. Hold that, because the Dreadnova connects onto the Survivor here in the mid lane, and it's followed up by a Synaptic Obliterator. He died, went back to base, and just died again.
Oh my God, CC Chain Hole, Doc. I mean, McDonald's call these guys because they should be setting up chains everywhere. That is nothing that the Skylar could do. The Synaptic Obliterator can get you out of the sky. The Snipe Comp, like you said, working to perfection, and that'll open up the Mini Prime.
Flowstate, man, they are locked in with these objectives. Mercy's calling of when to do these things is just locked in right now. You can just sense it by the way that every reset, every movement toward these objectives, it just feels so clinical in terms of who one singular voice controlling them. But a Colossal Blow knocks Omain back. I think he might be in danger here.
Yeah, the Rumble and the Pounce as well. The Feast just to get a little bit of life back. And finally, the first Riplash connects. And I think the Skewer was silenced or just stunned out of that one. But Doc, you could even see what Grady was talking about. The Subjugate right into the rock, then into the Colossal Blow. It's just so much damage for these folks to live through. And there's no like debuff reducer. I guess you have to build tenacity as best you can. But then that, curbs your ability to power a spike up. So they have to choose their items wisely here in this game.
Yeah, wisely indeed. And to make a bigger point, also, the cleanses are not online across the board here. Survivor is going to aerial assault over the boulder for Mercy, but Mercy changes targets onto Soul Reaper here, chasing him, hitting him with the Rumble, hit him with the bodies, and yeah, Soul is just going to be able to walk away there.
I mean, he's painted in purple, Doc. He feels emboldened. He's ready to go. He blinks right in. He does the rumble. He does the bounce as well. One more hit will do it. And it's the Fishman gets on the board. Mercy running train out here in Sanctuary.
Yeah, Mercy seems to be everywhere all at once. I mean, we just saw him at the mini prime, and he just is so fast at getting to where he needs to be. And Senpai, it can't be understated. Senpai's movement in that duo lane, dodging the spells coming out from Soul Reaper, really bought him the time necessary for his team to show up there and provide that support. So it was really, really just good movement from Senpai there. Meanwhile, though, over in the off lane, you can see that Mercy's having some of his jungle stolen. The information on the side of Professors is that Mercy just showed in the left lane. Therefore, that is the call for Omain to deny farm. But BKB should be privy to this and is going to chase him.
I think he might have the advantage here. The Feast is not online for Omain, so he doesn't have a way to get a little bit of extra sneaky regen. The Countess, the little vampiress doing their dangest, the Stasis Bomb, whizzes right past their feet, and there's a blink expended. The Colossal Blow whiffs, unfortunately. BKB just inches away from securing that one.
BKB with a great heads-up rotation into that jungle, knowing, hey, Omain is not in the lane. I need to go find out where Omain is. Just a great heads-up sense from him, and very close getting that, but that is the power of the Countess. Very shifty. Mercy, though, turns the corner into the wrong neighborhood, gets fly-trapped back into a skewer, and Chicken and Mercy both wishing that they had a ward around that corner.
Doc, the trap sprung there from the side of the Professors. You could see all four of them just waiting like a true fly trap, right? And then squished them in. And there's the fish comp, right? It does work, but there's a lot of setup and things that you need to make it do so. And they secure the first Fangtooth for them, the second one off the board.
Absolutely. It's a great pickup for the Professors. It's nice to see them interrupt the tempo that Flowstate has been setting with these objectives. And there's a lot of pressure now on Flowstate to get that tempo back. BKB getting chased down by Omain. He does have the bleed applied. Soul Reaper is here to provide a little help. And I think BKB might be dead.
I think so as well. Unless Mercy, no, he blocked his own boy. Oh, you hate to see it. The Untamed Growth now spawns because of the passive from the Fae, and now we have a full-fledged fight breaking out in the jungle. Omain said he's had enough. He shadow slips right out of there, and Soul Reaper says, I got no mana, brothers. I got to run for my life, and so he does. The Stasis Bomb, that one connects from a Kobe. The Rock to follow it up, and it's a take one for the President by Soul Reaper, but it will all be inevitable. The Blink has to be used there to dodge the Ion Strike, and now it's Oba waddling his way from the jungle. He does get a Rip Flash in the Electric the Silence as well. Peak will not be long for this world, or will he? Chicken comes through the Dwarf Techno Mage, showing his might, and finds the jungler.
Peak might not let this go unanswered, though. Or not Peak, sorry. It's Morn. Crazy Fool. Might not let it go unanswered, but he gets caught out. Colossal blowed into a wall while the Particle Shredder's just cutting him down, and he's going to fall. He was looking to try to get something from Peak and BKB, who were both at like Mercy, who were both at 1 HP. Chicken now getting chased down by Soul Reaper, who's already reset to base. He's going to have to juke and jive to dodge these nettles.
And he's been doing juking and jiving all day long. He's in the music. Untamed Growth. He gets out of the explosion. That was three dodges of the stinging nettles from Chicken. He's really looking like his head is cut off there, just running maniacally away. Well done from the mid laner. Doc, we got to take a deep breath here, man. We got to slow down because this is just wild what is happening between these two squads. You feel like Flowstate, they think they can win this one.
Flowstate is absolutely feeling themselves right now. They just took a great turnaround in that off lane. They've been hitting pretty good tempo with the objectives, with the exception of that second Fang of the game. So they are definitely feeling very good, especially with the status of Chicken. Chicken on this Argus, the damage that he is pumping. He made Oba on that Richter look like a creep. He just cut through him, just absolutely shredded. That in tandem with the control that the Subjugate, the Decker Stasis Bomb, all that offers, it's just free real estate for the side of Flowstate. So yeah, they're feeling pretty good. Unless Chicken gets picked, that is really the condition, the window for Professors to just take a wipe, and it's going to be very challenging because they have a lot of peel for him.
All eyes now look towards the off lane as the mini prime has spawned, but it is a contestant over the side and buff. First, it's the Riplash in, but the rock to crash into him as well. Another rumble from Mercy. He does have the behemoth mode should he need it. The eclipse there from the side of the Morn just to level the playing field. You can see it's a 3v3 contestant over here. Survivor though sneaking his way around. Now it's a full 5v5 fight. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. The initiation does come through. It's a stasis bomb that does it better over the Riplash. Now it's Mercy. He's jumping into the front line. He's taking a hypercharge to the base, though. He has to blink out of there. And it's Oba who just, or not Oba, it's BKB who decides to take his HP pool for the squad, but he gets burned to oblivion as well. Oh my gosh, Doc. 2 go down for the side of the Professors, 1 for Flowstate, and make it 3 for the Professors. The engagement turned on its head.
Soul Reaper and Survivor are still up, but Soul Reaper is lacking a little bit of mana. However, Mercy, it might just be enough mana to kill Mercy with Mercy's, 100 HP or whatever that abysmal number is. He does stick around, though, does get the hunt onto the mini prime. Stasis Bomb and the Boulder, followed up by the Stasis, though. Soul Reaper is likely to die here, while Senpai is just getting on top of him, pumping the damage. Peak trying to get the last hit on the Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper's breaking Peak's ankles, and actually Senpai is forced to blink away, but not before Chicken gets the kill on the Soul.
Doc, I think they were maybe being too cordial, too sportsmanlike, like, oh, you get the kill, that nobody got it, and that allows Senpai to go down. And Chicken, probably not long for this world as well. They overstay their welcome. It's a huge shutdown for Survivor. He gets a chunk of gold in his pocket. A lot of members now have returned to the fight, and still it continues, Doc, even though the mini prime has gone down. Mercy just feels emboldened by the purple buff. Let's see what he gets done with it, Doc. Because he has it, what objective do you think they're going to go for next?
Well, the third Fang is up, and it looks like Oba and Crazy Fool, not Peak, are starting it over there. The 2 big beefy boys, but Mercy and actual Peak seem to be kind of, well, maybe Mercy knows this. I don't know. This is going down very slowly, though. That is the downside to the Richter in the jungle, similar to the Aurora. Mercy, though, behemoth form.
And he just goes wailing on people. He doesn't even care. There's the Ion Strike, the Riplash as well. But now the fight is split. It's Survivor TV who's able to get a little bit of advantage. The Skewer, it tickles the people, but it doesn't lock anybody down in this tiny corridor. That's not where you want to be against the CC composition. And Crazy Fool is feeling the might of that, burned to oblivion. Where's the fly trap, Doc? That is what I'm looking for. Apparently it was expended, but didn't do anything. 2 things whiffed over Oba's head. Now he has to run for his little warden life. Takes the blast cone over the 1, but he's the only one alive to tell the tale.
BKB took a gamble there, trying to get the 50-50 guess onto where Oba was going. He failed, but Chicken, pretty freaking healthy. Mercy has remained very healthy since this engagement happened in the jungle. Hard-fought battle, but ultimately that is going to be the third Fang going the way of Flowstate there, though. They do lose Senpai and Peak, but at the cost of getting that objective, it's absolutely worth it for them. Professors, they're just struggling to find something out there. You mentioned the fly trap. I personally did not see it either, but it was expended. It's a very high likelihood that it got cleansed. That's the only thing I can think of, but it just seems like the big ultimates, the fly trap, the skewer, the Morn mesmerize, those abilities just aren't stacking the way that I think they want them to. They're just losing their tempo, and it's falling very fast out of their control. We do see a net worth discrepancy here that is quite large. It's about 3K in favor of Flowstate at this point in the game. Almost 4K, actually. Yeah, well, 3.5, whatever. But kill participation, though, almost double for Flowstate. Just the way that they're coming together for these objectives more successfully is just paying huge dividends for their economy, and they are continuing to spiral those leads into items. Across the board, though, towers are pretty even. Both dual lane towers are fallen, both off lane towers are pretty low, both mid lane towers are still standing. So it's just a matter of time, though, before we see the economy open up for one team or the other. But there's a lot of pressure on Professors here to make their ability combinations work, because right now, whatever they've been doing is not working.
Doc, and I think the desk said it extremely well, is that they have a harder comp to execute because you're going for the fishing, right? You're going out fishing, you're tossing the hook out, hopefully somebody bites it, and then you can start it off from there. Whereas, you have a rock, you have the Dread Nova, you have the Stasis Bomb. Those are a little bit easier to hit, as Crazy Fool is finding out once again. He gets hit with something that locks him into place. Oh, a nice abduct there, but it's on the wrong person. Mercy is not the one that, even though he is a fish, that you want to connect to. It's just about the execution, the ease of it, and there's just so much lockdown for the side of Flowstate. It's really hard to get through. We're seeing the Tainted Scepter now online as well for Chicken. That's a major power spike here for the mid laner.
Absolutely. Chicken is, again, he is the damage condition at this point still. Senpai, very strong still, but not, he is not the one doing all the damage. The Stasis Bomb, follow up on the Boulder with the Synaptic Obliterator on the Soul Reaper. They're trying to just knock one out of the fight immediately. Mercy in the backline follows him, and I believe Soul Reaper stasis to survive there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a nice attempt by Mercy, by the rest of the gang there, to try to just pick one out and give themselves an advantage heading into this tier 1 tower here in the mid lane. But all things accounted for, Dread Nova does not connect on the Oba, but neither does the fishing hook.
But you can see from how safe of a distance Flowstate can play for their initiation to go through. And just with the tank ability of the Rampage, you can dive under this tower and feel okay with it. The Behemoth form was expended, so he might feel less emboldened, but that's the Riplash. That's exactly what they needed. They take down the carry, a huge fishing hook there from the side of Oba.
That was 2 hooks. That was an Abduct into a Mesmerize into a Riplash, but the Boulder here connecting onto what appears to be Soul Reaper, forcing the Blink under his tier 1 tower. I don't think they're going to get him, but BKB is shown up here.
And that is huge, but so has Omain in the feast to lock down the Sevarog. I didn't know he had any blood to siphon, but they get something out of him. He goes down. There it is. Yes, you have to execute it perfectionly, but if you do, you can get something done. A 2K for the side of the Professors. Let's see if this battle will rage on. It looks like Omain, maybe he took a bit off, a little bit more than they can chew. They will go down for it, but when all's said and done, you got to say Professors did a great job.
Absolutely. Professors came out on top there in that engagement, protecting their tier 1 tower, getting a kill onto a key player on the side of Flowstate with that Senpai. I believe Chicken might have went down. I can't remember. But Mercy is just a menace right now. They can't do enough damage to cut through him. They almost got him a couple times, but it feels like they're transitioning. The Professors are transitioning their targets a little too soon, because they either need to fully commit to Mercy or they just need to push him out of a fight, and it doesn't seem like they're doing that in this situation. But all in all, yeah, the fishing hooks worked. It was very nice for them. However, I don't know if they would have had the same success if they hit, let's say, Rampage or Sevarog, because those are beefy boys.
Right, so you still have to be tactful about who you go fishing for. They start up the Primal just for now. Another Colossal Blow forces the Richter out of position. He has to blink away from the Ion Strike. My goodness, if that had hit, that would have spelled doom for the Warden. It's once again that setup from Flowstate that just has been working wonders for them. Oh, Mang. We've called his name a couple of times. He's won a couple of 1v1s, but when it comes to these big team fight engagement stock, it's what is he supposed to do? Try to get on Chicken, try to get on the peak, but there's just so much CC to work through. I'll let you think about that as the fight is still posturing here. Now a ton of CC crashed upon the Vampiress's head, and there she is not long for this world. Go back to the coffin with you. It's BKB. We've seen this one before. He doesn't have the Colossal Blow, though. However, the Hyper Shredder just shredding through him. He still is surviving, though, and it's Mercy who's able to find Soul Reaper, who didn't have a blink in this one in a tiny corridor. Both of these teams are fighting, and this is where the CC will do them well. Triple kill for the side of Flowstate. That will open up the Fang.
Flowstate just taking this game away in that engagement. They didn't lose anybody, and they took 3, burning that blink as well from Oba. So might as well be 4 kills, honestly, at that point. But the power of the control that they have is really showing here, because Oba being forced to blink just to dodge a single stun, because that spells doom and death and gloom for him. 5k net worth advantage now in favor of Flowstate here for the Dawn side. And as you mentioned, they are using this death timer window to start this 4th Fang, which is going to be their 3rd Fang of the game. It looks like they're going to secure it for free. So not only do they get a bonus to offense and defense, but they get the Primal Blaze buff as well. That's going to be pure damage to cut through Morn and Oba's Richter and Countess. and they're going to look to just move across the map, secure this tier 1 tower here, most likely get a little pressure into the jungle and take this orb prime.
Doc, I have to thank our observer here. It's Rastro. He's, clicking the ones and twos, just giving us the eye in the sky for the game. But when he put up the tab screen, I noticed not a single cleansing crest from the side of Flowstate. That's how much they don't even care about Soul Reaper and his fly trap. They know they can just tank their way through it. The Orb Prime is on the menu next, and they are just burning it to nothingness. Now double bubble buffed, and it's a huge Ion Strike combination from the CC. Oh, disaster in this tiny corridor. The big Mercy man, he's looking for someone to fight, but he gets caught in a bramble patch. Still, it is the Morn who goes down after multiple abilities expended there. It is BKB. He's chasing down Survivor. Can he survive this? Maybe not. It is Soul Reaper who comes to his aid. The Phantom Dash. The Siphon just barely whisked the grab. My goodness, now the turnaround here. Could the burn come through? The Atomizer. Oh, no. That's why Survivor, one of the best in the business, he turns that one around for a squad.
I think part of that was a little hubris on the side of BKB, but I think the other part maybe is just being, again, he's not a name that I'm super familiar with, so maybe it's just, lacks that veteran discipline to just back off once you fail. But again, Skylar was just so low, man. You just wanted it. Oba, though, tries to shoot for the Whiplash under his inhibitor, but he ends up getting stunned and shredded by this chicken and the Primal Blaze pure damage. That's going to be an inhibitor going the way of Flowstate. Most likely 2 inhibitors as they're going to look to siege or rotate over to the left. Never mind. They're going to look to get the reset off, get out together, get strong, capitalize on that advantage. Maybe deny some jungle farm. Maybe not. Ooh, that was a fight. That was a long fight.
It sure was, my friend. It looks like Chicken is going for Caustica next as well. Mercy looking for the Unbroken Will just to increase that tenacity. But so far, look at this disparity in gold, Doc. It's 11,000.
That's like close to double the last time we pulled the scoreboard up just a handful of minutes ago. Just a testament to the power of killing towers and killing heroes and killing inhibitors. Sure, they only killed 3 heroes, but they got a tier 2 tower and the middle inhibitor as well to boot, on top of the Orb Prime as well. So they're going to continue to leverage this Orb Prime across the map, continue to apply pressure to those outer lanes, and most likely just get those tier 2 towers, spiral that lead, get more items, and then look to close out the game with the 5th Fangtooth. That is my guess for how they're planning to play this, but because there's no real objective right now to play for, right? They have the Orb Prime, they just have to do something with it.
Yeah, so it's really about, secure some farm, push the waves in, really keep the professors in their own base so they can't get into their own jungle. They are starved for farm, etc. We have all the members now converging on this duo lane side. It's about who gets the right initiation. Doc, we've talked about Omang. He's a great player, but they just haven't found the right character for him, whether it's hero pool, whether it's their thought process, but each and every time not having the right impact. So it seems like the professors are always man down in some of these situations. Its peak goes over the top with a stasis bomb, doesn't hit anybody there. They're just sieging this tower, and eventually it falls under the might of the creeps. All the while, it's BKB on the offlane side. He's going right for the in-hit.
Somebody has to answer that. They cannot let that go for free. BKB, though, he escorted the creeps under the inhib, and he's looking to rotate. Mercy, though, getting chunked down, is forced to jump away with 1 HP, but he's just going to regen up.
And this is where maybe the Countess comes into play, but the CC locks her down, and she's so squishy. There goes Omang, and now it truly is a 4v5 fight, but they need all 5 members to keep this inhib alive, and it's BKB from the back. He takes down Oba, says, see ya later. 3 members dead for the side of Professors, but 2 gone. The 2 beefy boys have been eliminated for the side of Flowstate, but they say, you did your job, my brothers, and we are going to siege and ransack this base the best we can. Only Soul Reaper is there to try to lead them astray, but they know better. They know what the real objective is, and that is the core, and the core will be dead. It is Flowstate who secures the 2nd spot. The Professors, see you later.
I'm speechless. The way this series started out, I was certain it was going to be a 2-0 Professors. They started the series so strong, but game 2, Mercy leads his team back into this with just insane shot calling, and that carried over into game 3. Just very, very strong communication, strong rotations into these objectives, and this chicken on the Argus in the mid lane cannot be understated. Like I'm gonna go look at the Omega City and look at his damage, because it's got to be crazy. The amount of movement, the amount of shots he was hitting, just crazy damage all around. Just kudos and congratulations to Flowstate.
Absolutely. They move into PPL Season 2 for chance at multitudes of hundreds of dollars of money. Senpai, a quiet kind of MVP here, Doc, has 11 assists, 8 kills on the board. Just was doing a ton of work, but we barely felt like his name got called. But that's kind of what the Kira does, very sneaky, the Demon Hunter, taking their foes down one by one. Unfortunately, we will say goodbye to some of these veterans on the Professor's squad. I'm sure we'll see them again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure broadcasting this series for you. Once again, I'm HD Philly B with the medicine man himself, Dr. Shadow. We're going to send it back to Blacks and Grindy to break it all down.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for sending it back our way and closing us out on what was one